Good morning, students. In today's class, we are going to begin with the new chapter. And so far, we studied in the first chapter where, when, and how, and second chapter the new kings and kingdoms after those who ruled during the medieval period. When we consider the medieval period, we come across early medieval period and the late medieval period. Is it? So, in the early medieval period, the Palas, Pratiharas, and the Cholas and Rajputs, these were the peoples who ruled the king, who ruled the region. And whereas the late medieval period, the Delhi Sultans and the Mughals were the true prominent rulers who ruled India. So among these, in today's class, we are going to see about the Delhi Sultans, that is, the Sultans of Delhi. In that, we are going to learn about the topic is sources of Delhi Sultanate and the slave dynasty. So, the image which you are seeing, students, is the image one of the pillar which you could see. And do you think during which period this was constructed? Do you know? Yes, children. During the period of that is 1206 to 1526 CE, a series of rulers who ascended the throne of Delhi were supreme in holding the political authority, and they themselves called as sultans, and Delhi was their capital city. Therefore, during 1206 to 1526 CE, considered as the period of Delhi sultanates. So there are sources of Delhi Sultanates like inscription, coins, and monuments, other documents which tells us about the Delhi Sultanates. And even other than the inscriptions and coins and monuments, we do have records called Twarik, that is plural of Tariq. It will be written in the Persian language in about the Delhi Sultanates, and these will be written only by the learned men who know to read and write, like poets, courtiers, secretaries, and the administrators. And coming to the accounts of foreign travelers, which we have studied in the first chapter under foreign travelers under the sources, like Moroccan traveler, that is Ibn Battuta, is also an example of the writer who has written about the Delhi Sultanates, and he mentioned about the Muhammad bin Tughlaqs and about his decision to shift the capital of Delhi to Daulatabad. Why he has done all those things he has mentioned in his records. So this also one of the record which tells about the Delhi Sultanate. So children, when we consider the Delhi Sultanate, after it was they were the arrival of the Turks after the defeating of the Rajput kings, they started establishing their empire in India, and the Arabs didn't made many attempts in capturing the Sindh region from the beginning of 8th century. But under the threat of Turks attack, Turks belong to the nomadic tribes of Mongolians, a part of Central Asia, and Alaptain, who belonged to this tribe, established his independent state in 963 CE in Ghazni region of Afghanistan. The battles between the Turks and the Rajputs started from this period, and Muhammad Ghazni and the Muhammad Ghori. The Ghazni ascended the throne after Albertine in 1996, and he invaded India, Muhammad Ghazni, for 17 times, and he destroyed the Somanatha temple and the temples of Sarostra by him during his invasion, and he looted all the wealth of the India. And during his invasion, due to the political and military weakness of the Rajputs, Muhammad invaded 17 times, carried away enormous amount of gold ornaments and wealth to Ghazni. Muhammad Ghori, a Turk dynasty of Shans Bani of Ghor region of Afghanistan, came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. After the Muhammad Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty, and Ghiyazuddin Muhammad Ghor of this dynasty ascended the throne. So while coming to the Delhi Sultanate, the period between the 1206 and AD and the 1526 AD in Indian history, we call it as Delhi Sultanates. And there were 5 dynasties among the Delhi Sultanates who had 32 kings and ruled in Delhi. Among these were the Slave dynasty, the Khilji dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, the Sayyid dynasty, and Lodi dynasty. These were the 5 different dynasties which we see in the among the when we study about the Delhi Sultanates. So, this Muhammad Ghori, historian states that he wanted to recapture the place of Sindh, but under the rule of Muhammad Ghazni, he invaded Anilwada of Gujarat and got defeated. This defeat made Muhammad to change his plan and attack the Peshawar and conquered it. And Muhammad attacks the plains of India. This attack was naturally by the ruler of Delhi, Prithviraj Chauhan III. He defeated Muhammad at Tehran. Okay, then this Muhammad returned to Gaur and again faced the Prithviraj Chauhan. Later, Prithviraj Chauhan was imprisoned. Prithviraj Chauhan continued to the rule for a while after his surrenderance. Muhammad appointed his slaves to take care of the area won by him in India, and he got murdered on his way back to Gori. And now coming to the Delhi Sultanate's children, with the departure of Muhammad, his slaves started strengthening their rule in areas conquered by the Turks. So the slaves who were working under the as per the statements of given by the Muhammad, his slaves started ruling India, which they were conquered by the Turks. So the Qutub bin Aibak first comes into picture here. So children, when we consider the first dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate was slave dynasty. Under this, the famous rulers were Qutb bin Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Sultana, Naziruddin Muhammad and Balban. Qutb bin Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Sultan, Naziruddin Muhammad, Balban. These were the 5 rulers who were prominent among the slave dynasty. So the first Delhi Sultanate was after Muhammad Ghori left India, Qutb bin Aibak was a slave to the Muhammad. So as he was a slave and who was very close to Muhammad, he enjoyed his confidence and made Delhi and the capital of Chauhans as his center of administration. So he remained in India and accepted Qutb bin Aibak as their Sultan. Qutb bin Aibak became the founder of Ghulam dynasty, or the other name is slave dynasty. So the rule of Turk, which started by Aibak, was continued by Khilji, Tughlaq, Sayyid and Lodi dynasty till the arrival of Mughals. So these Qutb bin Aibak captured many Rajput kings and extended his Turkish rule to Doab region. And he could not consolidate rule his empire because he died in the accident. And he was called as able and generous ruler by the many of the nobles, noted people. And but for his generosity and Aibak was known as Lak Baksh, the giver of lucks, the giver of lakhs. So Aibak ruled for a span of 4 years and he was known for the name Lak Baksh, the giver of lakhs. This when he succeeded the Muhammad Ghori in all the places conquered by him in India, where he is slaves, Qutb bin Aibak, who established Turk rule in Delhi, was also a slave. Hence, the rule is termed as Ghulam dynasty rule. Apart from Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Sultana and Balban are important in Ghulam dynasty. Qutb bin Aibak laid strong foundation in Delhi Sultanates and he belonged to the family of Afghanistan Turks. And he sold to Kaji of Nishapur as slave by his guardians, and he receives education in Arabic and Persian language, and he was well trained in archery, horse riding and soldiering. Muhammad Ghori was the governor of Ghazni, purchased him as his slave. He became the overseer of attack on India after the second battle of Tehran. And Aibak built the Quaid ul Islam Mosque in Delhi, and he also started building Qutub Minar. Have you seen the Qutub Minar? The first picture which I shown in the beginning of the chapter, it is the Qutub Minar. He is the tallest tower in India. It is located in Delhi and it was constructed and started by the Qutub bin Aibak and completed by Iltutmish. So a work named Tajul Mazir provides information on Aibak.